Good morning
Blog
and welcome
Talk
to
Radio.
Howcee Production Gospel, Blog Talk Radio.
Did you know that there was a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden where 20,000 New Yorkers gathered to celebrate the rise of Nazism? The marquee outside the theater says pro-America rally. That's how it was sold. And when you get inside, there are American flags everywhere. They say the Pledge of Allegiance and sing the Star-Spangled Banner. And there's a 30-foot portrait of George Washington, but he has swastikas on either side. It seemed like something that, if it were true, everybody would know about. It would be a common part of American history. But I was wrong, and a number of archives had pieces of footage from the night, but nobody had pulled it all together. And when I sat down and started looking through, I was just stunned. I was shocked and appalled and confused. The juxtaposition of Nazi imagery and ideology with the icons of American patriotism are really disorienting. Super dramatic. It was filmed in a way that was intended probably to be used for propaganda purposes. So it has a very dramatic feel, but it's very dark and it's weirdly familiar. The anti-Semitism and fascism were embraced by an unsettlingly large number of people. And you know that if 20,000 people show up for a rally, that there's many times that who support the ideology. The rally was organized by the German-American Bund, which was kind of the American Nazi party at that point. And it was very controversial. There was a big debate over whether they should be allowed to have this rally there. And the beginning of the film, the initial shots are of protesters outside who are shaking fists and yelling at what's going on in there. So it was definitely not the majority opinion of Americans at the time, but it was a legitimate opinion. The speaker's speech begins with an attack on the press, and that's a classic thing for demagogues to do. He tells the crowd that they need to take America back from the Jews who are destroying it, and that we need to institute a Gentile-controlled United States. To me, the footage was kind of a metaphor for general demagoguery. And then, when the woman was murdered in Charlottesville, it became clear that this wasn't just a metaphor even anymore. Now we're actually talking about actual Nazis in the current time. Today it's the Jews, but also Muslims and immigrants. There's an ideology of hate that even transcends Nazism. The Nazi Party is clearly a very fringe group in the United States, but the ideology of hate and the climate of anti-immigrant, anti-Semitic, anti-black feelings is very present and much bigger than any fringe Nazi party. Partway through the rally, a man runs out on stage, and we know now that his name was Isidore Greenbaum. He was a Jewish plumber's assistant from Brooklyn, and he was so appalled by what he heard being said on the stage that he just couldn't control himself, and he ran out. A group of thugs basically surround him. They beat him up, take him off stage, rip his pants off as they're throwing him off stage. The most shocking and upsetting part of it is the reaction of the crowd. You don't see people who are upset or are concerned about a person who's just been beaten up in front of them. Instead, they're laughing and they're cheering and they're slapping high fives as if they're at a World Wrestling Federation match. And of course, it's something that we see today when you see these Trump rallies where people are punching cameramen or beating up protesters, and the crowd laughs, and the president sort of gives a little smirk or a cynical head shake, or worse, cheers it on. It brings out the worst in Americans. And, if we have to be honest, people have dark sides inside of us, and those can be stirred up by leaders who are sarcastic and funny and charismatic and mean. It's a warning about the demons that live within us that can be stirred up by demagogues like that.
Good evening and welcome to Howcee Production Gospel Blog Talk Radio. Whatever time it is, wherever you are, God is still in control and everything is in His hand. We open up that portion of this broadcast talking about racism and different issues in regards to America, its past and its present, what's going on today in its country. It seems to be as if with the new state that we are in today, February 26, 27, 28, right about the end of the month of February in the year 2019, America is at the top of its lowness, so to speak. Not to say that we have not been there before in other issues, slavery, war, all the things that impact America and what she does and how she does and its people and its beginning, its lows and highs. But it brings about an element of sin in our lives as well as my personal life and the battles that I have, as well as you and I have battles dealing with the issues of not being Christ-like, not doing what God wants us to do. How is it that today it appears, that's to me as a radio host and as a person that battles with issues of in my own personal life, and as a deacon in a church and a person that sings in a choir and sing gospel songs and talk about gospel artists and different things and good things all day and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that something ain't right. And what's not right is that it seems to be an ever-mounting pressure from the Antichrist, Satan, the deceiver, the liar in our lives and what we do. How long is it that we going to continue to look, to me, as if we're looking the other way? Politicians don't say anything. Different people can do different things, and certain people can be brought to account for it. Anything that is hidden, which there's some things hidden in my life, I'm hoping that whenever they do come to light that I'll be able to stand. Same way as you, I hope so. But that just shows the frailty of human beings and who we are. We hope that somebody will call in and talk to us tonight. They may not. But either way, that number is 1-619-639-4634 or 347-202-0317 or 713-955-0464. Last night, Warren Williams, one of the executives of Sharper Records, and I had talked, and we were talking about racism, and we were talking about pulling the scab off of racism in America, and we were talking about a black A and a red A. It was a metaphor on two different colleges in the state of Alabama, a black A, Alabama State, and a red A, University of Alabama, University in Alabama State, and the University of Alabama, a predominantly historically black college and a white college in Alabama, who is champion of a powerful football team and has championed for a long time. But where is the factors of racism involved in that? What is the difference in it? What is the situation there at University of Alabama State, and the University of Alabama? How is the issues of racism being dealt with? Things are going on, but how is it? Is it real? Is it really battling the issues of plague the nation, this country, this state? I know Alabama is one of the ranked lower in all categories of all of the states in the United States in a lot of categories. And why is that? Why is it in Alabama, the black and the white race, and I can't say that it's in all states or in every place, but it just appears to me that it seems to be walking in different directions. I do hope in all honesty, that we do somehow turn things around in the whole state. But that goes for the nation as well. But in the South, there is still a slow hum of racism in all parts of the United States. Not to say that is the worst, because it has been worse in this country. Things are getting better. And then why is it that anytime the issue is brought up or talked about, people talk about let it alone, let it alone, let it alone. Man, it's just so difficult. And one of the things that says that about let it go, let it pass, slavery and different things that have to. But everything, the Indians, that's a quiet running home fan. They are the champions of gambling in the United States with casinos. America has decided that they're going to go gamble their lives and money away with the Indian casinos, and the casinos making plenty of money. But what is it? There's those in the state say that marijuana and all those different things are not to be used for financial gain. Gambling is not to be used for financial gain. But Alabama got casinos. What are we to do? I believe, in all honesty, they're always talking about when God is coming back, but he is coming back and he's on his way back. But it's best that we be prepared. You actually be prepared for the coming of Jesus Christ. There are some that says that there is no Jesus Christ. There are some that says that Jesus Christ is black. Some that says that Muslim is not a religion. There's people that are dying and fight each to the death on words and conversation about Muslims and Jews and Gentiles and different types of people. And this thing about socialism, why is it that the GOP keep bringing up this stuff about socialism, scaring the hell out of majority of Americans who really don't know what socialism is or anything else? It's just a word that we use to control people. If you want to vote, get out and vote. That's one thing about Alabama now. Here we got current Senator Jones, that's in senator from Alabama, and then the gentleman out of Mobile, who's been representing Alabama in other areas, is going to be running against him. And it's already clear. It's already clear from what is taking place that there is some things going on in this country. And I'm going to tell you, when the election comes up in Alabama, I'm going to go back to my Facebook page and see can I find that. When it comes up in Alabama, running, there is going to be some people in this state, they don't care one iota or make a one bigger difference when it comes to the gentleman that's running, Jones, that's going to be running against another Republican, Representative Bradley Burns. It just chills me to my bones to know I am 72 years old, and it will take an absolute voting miracle for U.S. Republican Bradley Burns to lose in the state of Alabama. Because the white people in this state, I don't care, come hell or high water, they gonna vote for Bradley Burns over the gentleman that's already in the seat now, Jones. And it's imperative that Democrats, Independent, ADC, New South, it's past time to go to work in Greene County, the Greene County registered voters, Alabama's. It is time for a change. Why is it? Okay, you've been voting like this for years. All the person